Matthew here from MiniWargaming.com, bringing you another Beat Matt Bat Rep.
We work so you can play. Mini Wargaming's Beat Matt Bat Rep.
This time we've got Max coming all the way down from St. Catharines in a blizzard. It's actually a blizzard outside. It's our first blizzard of the season, which is okay considering it's January 13th. Anyways, he's challenged me to a game of Warhammer Fantasy. So this is a break from our 40k Necron battle reports, which I've been doing a lot of. I've gotten to the point where maybe I got to start changing it up now. I've been doing too many Necrons. But I've been wanting to play my new Necrons, so what do you do? Anyway, we're going to be doing Tomb Kings versus High Elves. And so we've been doing a 2,250 point game of Tomb Kings versus High Elves. So let's first off take a look at the armies, and then we'll take a look at the battlefield.
We'll start by looking at Max's High Elves. Now this is 2,250 points here. And these are actually pretty old school. Every single model is actually metal from when he played years ago. We have an Archmage, level 4 wizard, and then we have just a regular noble on the right there. And then we have a battle standard bearer that he brought in as well, just to add a little extra support to one of his groups. And then he brought a nice troop heavy, or core heavy, or whatever you want to look at it as, army consisting of all the spearmen and the Phoenix Guard and the 2 groups of archers as well. And so now this group, one of the groups, I can't remember which one it is, we'll see it in game, has they all have 4+ ward saves, and it's just ridiculous how good they are. So yeah, you're going to see how effective those are in the game. And then he's got these 2 groups of archers, of course, tons of arrows in this army, so he's able to sit back and pelt my army from a distance. And then he's got a group of skirmishers here and 3 bolt throwers. So these are quite handy for taking down larger creatures and also just taking down groups of guys as well. And so moving over to my Tomb Kings, if you've watched our Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, this will be pretty familiar, as this is most of my army. When we play 2,250 points, it's pretty much everything I can bring, minus maybe a Scorpion and the Giant as well, so I could go up as high as 2,500. Decided to go magic heavy, but also brought a Tomb King, and so he's going to be joining the group there. He's got the heavy armor with a 4+ ward save. We got a Lich High Priest, level 4 warrior with the upgrade that gives him +1 to his casting and dispelling. So he's a very powerful wizard. And then we got another level 2 Lich Priest on horseback. The only reason he is on horseback is because that's what the model is on. Otherwise, I would have just kept him on foot and tossed him with the archers or something. And then we've got a Tomb Prince being proxied by a broken chariot. And he's going to be in a chariot to provide the better weapon skill to the group of chariots. Then we have a large group of 48 skeleton warriors with full command, and the High Priest and the Tomb King will be joining them. We've got a group of 16 archers, just to provide a little bit of fire support. Of course, we have the chariots. Need the chariots to be able to have that fast impacting hits, 3d6 strength 4, strength 5 impact hits. We got a group of horse archers. There's some regular horsemen proxying for the horse archers in there, so 14 of those, no command. They're going to use their scout move to try to disrupt his back lines. We've got a Screaming Skull catapult. I didn't spend the 10 points to upgrade it because I didn't have the extra 10 points, although I could have dropped a couple skeletons for it. And a group of 3 Ushapti with great weapons and a Necrosphinx. So a nice hardy skeleton army with good magic, lots of resurrection, and lots of guys to march down the center of the field. The scenario, we just decided to keep it really simple. We need to maybe get into Warhammer Fantasy more so we can try out all the crazy terrain and try those kind of layouts, but I find for the most part that the games work really well with less terrain and you just kind of focus on your positioning and everything else. But there is probably more we could do with that in future battle reports. So deployment, we rolled off and I got to go first and go back and forth. Now one mistake that we do in here is he deploys his bolt throwers one at a time rather than all together. All the war machines are supposed to deploy together. But it doesn't actually matter in the end because I get all my guys deployed before him, so I will get the +1 to the die roll that determines who is going to go first. So like I said before, if you've watched the Fantasy Battle Reports, you see similar tactics here. I haven't done enough of them for me to really start some wild tactics, and really I need to get more Tomb Kings as well, or try out a different army. What he's going to be doing here is he's going to be putting his High Elves pretty much as far back as he can. He's got long bows, which have a 30-inch range, which is very long for Warhammer Fantasy. And he's going to sit back and just get as many rounds of shooting off as he possibly can and hope that I've been worn down so that by the time I get to him, his close combat guys will be able to finish me off in combat. And he's also got his level 4 wizard. He took the Lore of Shadow, which has the Pit of Shades, the one spell I really, really hate, which just basically puts a small or large blast template over your guys, and any guys underneath it that fail an initiative test are just removed from play. Now, when you consider that pretty much my entire army's initiative 2, that is very difficult. One disadvantage we had to this game is that he didn't have any movement trays, so you have to place each model individually and moving them around as well. So it took a little longer because of that. So you'll notice that we're skipping through this deployment and not just speeding it up. And that's because you don't just have to sit there and watch him place this guys one at a time. So my strategy is simple. I just march up the middle with the skeleton warriors and chariot side by side with some fire support from the archers and the screaming skull catapult from behind. And when they get there, the chariots rush forward and smash into something and try to disrupt his lines while the warriors just make their way into combat. The Necrosphinx also will fly up there and try to hit something and distract it as well. These Shopti will move up as well. They're a little faster than the warriors. Then I'm going to rely on magic to keep me alive because he's got a lot of shooting. So I'm going to take casualties, and I just have to try my best to resurrect them as he's been destroying them. So pretty straightforward strategy. When you get guys movement trays, things get moved around really quickly. And he's got a pretty straightforward strategy too. Create the concave, pelt me with arrows, and when I get close in, hopefully he's done enough damage that I don't have enough left to take on his army. So these two strategies actually, I don't know if they would counter each other. Maybe his counters mine a little better because he sits back and shoots. He wants me to slowly approach, and I happen to be a slow army, so that kind of works for him. But the chariots and the monster help me to get in a little closer. And then my scouts on the one side of the archers that you saw there also helped me to disrupt the lines. I ended up winning first turn, which is good because I need that extra round of movement before he starts to shoot. So just moving my guys forward. The warriors moving only their 4 inches. I really need to rely on the magic phase to get me extra movement. And so you'll see what we roll for those dice in a second. The Shopti move up, and the Necrosphinx moves up as well to get into position to charge next turn. And then the other Lich Priest just moves forward. The archers move up as well because they only have a 24-inch range, and he started back, so they're going to take a couple rounds to get up into even shooting range. And then the horse archers move into position. They cannot charge the first turn if they scouted, if I get first turn, so that's why you didn't see them charging. I only roll 3 for my magic dice, so I don't get any magic off. He manages to dispel all that because he gets to steal one of my power dice, and it's just pretty hard to do that. Firing with my horse archers into his guys, managed to take out one of his skirmishers there. And then firing with the tomb, the catapult, which always misfires, but in this case it actually got a direct hit and scores a lot of wounds on him. And he ends up saving a couple of them, but about 5 or 6 guys die from that. And he does have to take a panic test. Now I should have taken the Screaming Skull, or the upgrade, because he rolls a 9, which he would have failed if I had taken a 10-point upgrade. So that group would have run off the board. So that's a big deal there. I realize now that it was foolish of me not to drop 2 of my skeleton warriors to bring that upgrade, because the what if scenario there, the hindsight showed me that whole group would be off the board, and that would have been a huge loss for him at the beginning. And other than that, not much more eventful things happen in the Tomb King's turn. In the High Elf's turn, he decides to charge his skirmishers into my scouts, and then he's just doing swift reforms all around just to get his guys into movement. Swift reform basically roll leadership, and you get to reform, and still you get to move. Or in his case, he doesn't move, but he can still shoot. So just getting into better defensive formations. He rolls a whopping 11 for his number of power dice, so he's got lots of magic. He shoots the one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically a cannonball, and it goes into my lines and inflicts a wound, and then it goes through, and it basically only manages to inflict 1 wound. He also casts a spell that reduces their movement. In this case, he reduces it by 3 inches, so they're slowing down. So he's doing his best to slow me down, and then he's pelting me with this bolt thrower as much as he can. Or sorry, that was just with the archers. Now the bolt thrower is going to fire a single shot. He hits and he wounds, and manages to kill one because it does multiple wounds, and then it goes through to the second rank and it manages to wound and does another d3 wounds. So he actually managed some heavy casualties on the chariots. Firing again, the chariots with his other bolt thrower manages a hit and a wound, which does d3 wounds, which is 2 more wounds. That kills another one, but there's nothing in the second rank for him to hit, so that's all it's going to do. The other bolt thrower then fires at the Shopti, does its multi-shot one, and doesn't manage to do any wounds. And then he's going to continue to fire with his archers into the chariots. He wants to kill the chariots. If he can kill the chariots, then that's going to be very hard for me to be able to catch up to him. And then he fires at the Necrosphinx as well, which is going to be difficult because he needs 6s. He manages 1 wound, but I do actually save it. And then he's got 1 bow firing at the Shopti, which misses, of course. If you ever have single shot, it's destined to miss. rolling to see if I cause fear, and I do not. So he gets his nice high weapon skill, which means he's hitting on 3s, re-rolling because he has always strikes first and his initiative is higher. That thankfully only manages to kill 3 of them. I get to hit back. I think I actually forget my steeds, but it won't really matter too much, and manage only 1 wound, which he does fail to save. So I lose combat by 2, which means 2 more of my guys will go down because of an unstable. Now he got the charge off as well, but I had the extra rank, so that negated there. So end of round 1, he's already inflicting casualties on my chariots. I've managed to inflict a few casualties with the Screaming Skull catapult, but unfortunately he didn't run. And my guys are advancing, but slowly, because my magic phase did not allow me any extra movements. And then he even cast a spell to slow down my chariots by 3 inches. And so they're going to have a hard time getting up there. But this is only round 1. There's still some chances to resurrect and cast a lot of good magic. So stay tuned for round 2. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below who you think is going to win based on what you have seen so far.